Question 1, Part 1, Define data and signal. For this question, do not write long answers because define means you have to briefly write the definition. Data means raw facts. Data are unprocessed, and when the data is processed, you can have information. And signal is a form that we use to transfer data from one place to another place. And before sending data from sender to the receiver, we have to convert data into electromagnetic signals. And this signal can be used to transfer the data, and it can be analog or digital in nature. Question 1, Part 2. Write 3 advantages of computer network. So you can mention any 3. For an example, here we have a list of advantages. Accessing database and transferring, processing, retrieval of data can be done online. So you know that if we have a database in one place, we can access that database online, and same database is then used by different people, and all the information can be easily transferred. And also we know that most of the electronic payments are done online now, and therefore you can mention that online payment, e-commerce, fund transfer, all those things are advantages of computer networks. And a computer network is easily administrated. For an example, if you consider a client server network, all the clients can be easily managed through the server. You can create user account, and you can control access to your network. You can install software to all the machines at the same time. You can easily back up your systems. Like that, there are a number of things you can do easily. And if you want to communicate between devices, it is easy with a computer network. For an example, you can use email, voicemail, and you can have video conferencing, and you can chat with other people, and that is also an advantage of computer network. Users can be easily added or removed. This is also similar to what we discussed as easily administrated. When we have a network, we can easily add users to the network, as well as we can easily remove. Tasks of distributed nature can be processed by distributed computer systems by exchanging data. For an example, if you consider a company which has number of branches in different places, and if you want to exchange data in between these branches, you can use a network that will connect all these branches, and then you can easily access the same database with help of distributed computing. And the other thing is, when you have a network, you can share your resources. For an example, if you have one printer and a number of devices, number of computers in your organization or in your institute, then you can have a small network and add that printer to the network and share that printer with all the computers. So each and every computer can use the printer, and that printer device is shared within the network. Using a computer network, you can easily share your files as well. You can use your internal network, or you can use internet to share your data. Provides data security. For an example, if you have a file server in your network, that file server will take all the backups for you, and the network administrator will control unauthorized access to the network, and your computer data will be protected through server security. Therefore, you can assure security as well. Part 3. What are the 5 conditions to be satisfied to establish a successful communication? Here in this question, it asks you about the data communication model. You know that there are a number of components in data communication model: sender, receiver, transmission medium, and protocol, as well as the message or the response from the receiver. So you can mention all those components here, and you do not have to draw the diagram of data communication model. Here you have to mention those elements only. Part 4. Briefly describe 3 characteristics of sine wave. We have discussed about the sine wave. In the sine wave you can mention about amplitude, frequency, and period. So amplitude is the value of the signal, and that value will be changed over time. So in different time instances you have different amplitude levels. So the amplitude is measured in volts, and for this question you can draw a sine wave and then mark these uh, characteristics as well. And the second characteristic is frequency. Frequency is the rate which signal repeats. So signal frequency is measured in hertz, or else we call as cycles per second. Therefore, you can write the equation as F equal 1 over T. And the third characteristic is period. Period is the amount of time that a wave takes for one repetition. In a period, we have only one repetition, and period is marked as T. T can be taken as T equals 1 over F. What is the relationship between period and frequency? So frequency is the inverse of time period, or else you can mention that time period is the inverse of frequency as well. Here we have mentioned F equals 1 over T. Similarly, you can say T equals 1 over F as well.